Your Honor, if you don't mind, could we ascertain from courtroom 2 in South Annex whether there are any medical resets?
Not
I
at the
know
South
Alex
Annex.
Griffin has been on the calendar for a number of days.
Right. Yeah, we have. South Annex, do we have any medical resets there?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Let's see about courtroom 2. Any medical resets in courtroom 2?
Your Honor, it's going to be position number 5, Mr. Alex Griffin.
Okay.
Judge, I was informed that there was supposed to be a waiver for Mr. Griffin appearance. I don't know if anybody from the PD, because he's been reset several times, and I know Judge Law's been indicating, and I know the PD's been saying that they was going to do a waiver. And I don't know what happened yesterday on the counter why he was not taken care of.
Okay. I see PD Whitfield is
I don't know
on.
if she can answer that question, or somebody from her office can answer that question, because we've been expecting a waiver of appearance.
I have not, good afternoon, Judge. I have not heard anything about a waiver on, which position is this? I'm sorry, I did not.
Number 5,
position
Mr.
5.
Griffin. He's been reset multiple times.
I haven't heard anything about that. If you give me a moment to check with my colleague and my supervisor, I can try and get some information. Myself and Daryl Coleman are supposed to be.
Yeah, I wait for
The
Mr.
public
Coleman.
defender
There you go.
today.
He just logged on. I'm getting them in on.
Okay,
He's coming in now.
you might have more information than I do.
Mr. Coleman's coming in now. He's kind of blurry.
Hmm.
Mr. Coleman, you may have to adjust your camera. You're very foggy. Okay, y'all can get started. I guess he will sound when that case comes up, I guess.
It'll be my luck he has the first case up. Let's see. Mr. Coleman, can you hear us?
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. It's very blurry, but in your camera, we can hear you. We can only kind of see a glare. But
Oh, really? Yeah, and I don't know how to fix that. It's funny because I've had issues with the camera before, and I've always asked people if they can see me clearly, and they say yes, but I don't know how to fix this.
Do you have a lens where you can adjust it and turn it? You got that type of camera?
No, it's a built-in camera. I can maybe try to clean it off. Let me see if I can get something to clean it off with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's just Vaseline.
Maybe it's the
It could be one of those light little strips. You know how you get a new camera, whatever, they don't take.
Oh, and it's still over there.
Still on the camera. You know how you get a little tape.
Uh-huh.
Your Honor, South Annex is ready whenever Attorney Coleman is ready. We have position 12 and position 19.
Okay, we're starting with the South Annex first.
Yes, Your
Oh,
Honor.
that is great.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, wow.
That made a huge difference.
World of difference.
Thank you. All right, we're starting with position 12 in the South Annex.
Yes, Your Honor, both ladies can see and hear their rights.
All right, let me do my opening real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin the Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and these cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we're going to address several matters today, including bond, possible arraignment, or consideration of a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. We will also be providing a reset date for SAP. What is that date? Reset date, Ms. Grace?
March the 3rd, Your Honor.
Okay, March the 3rd, 2022 is our SAP date. And I'm also going to let everyone know that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. We also want to let you know, for those on this calendar, that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say about the facts or occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. You are represented by counsel, so please defer to your counsel and follow their instructions to not make any statements against your interest. All right, we will begin with position number
12.
Is that Jessica Redmond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is number 22 CR 0000859D. You're charged with a count of driving homicide by vehicle in the second degree, a second charge of driving improper erratic lane change, third, driving with a gore barrier or section separating the road or highway, fourth, too fast for conditions, prima facie speed, and 5, seatbelt violation for an adult. The offense date is February the 17th, 2022. A pretrial, do you have anything?
No, just as it indicates no prior history.
Okay. All right, Ms. Gardner, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor, and if I could make some explanation, there have actually been 7 charges filed in that case.
Oh,
There are 3 charges of homicide by vehicle in the second degree pled in the alternative.
mhm.
Those Odyssey would not let me select all 7 charges at once, so they were sent down in 2 batches. I did put a note on that. And I
Okay.
see on my screen that the other 2 were given the case number 22CR000860 with no letter at the end.
Okay.
But they should all be in the same.
You have that, Mr. Coleman?
One moment, Your Honor, let me see. Let me look at the calendar.
This is Ms. Lewis, talking to the solicitor. You sent down a supplementary attachment for this case? Is that the way you send it, like additional charges to be added on to the same?
Your Honor,
case
my
file?
calendar just has 5 counts.
Right.
I'm trying to look at it now here and just to make the correction. What's going to
Okay.
happen? You said it was 3 other charges?
There's 2 other charges, both homicide by vehicle in the second degree. So there's 3 of those counts.
And you said that got a separate case number?
Yes, 22CR000860 with no letter at the end.
So what's going to happen is that if that's corresponding with the same incident date,
Yes.
okay, those 2 charges, that case number is going to be deleted, and those 2 charges are going to be added on to the cases on the calendar now.
Right, great. Thank you so much.
So it's going to take me a minute to get that together here.
Okay.
All right.
And so we'll go ahead and proceed, but there are 3 counts of vehicular by homicide in the second degree. And I stand corrected, but I think Katrina's going to get us together so that we have them all under the 859D case. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Gardner.
Certainly, Your Honor. The state is cognizant that there is no arrest history prior to this. However, there was a citation for speeding 90 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone on August 11th, 2020. That disposition was entered on October 7th, 2020, and that was, I believe, in Conyers. Our concern is, one, we have a grave concern with the fact that her actual address and the address on her license is Chicago, Illinois. The tag on her car when this incident occurred was a New York tag. She had the speeding ticket in Conyers in 2020. So we are concerned about how we're going to find her when it is time for trial. If she does not appear, then we need someone to be incentivized to go find her. And clearly also, she does not seem to be a safe driver. She was convicted for speeding 90 in a 70 mile per hour zone. Yet she did not learn from that incident, and now someone is dead. The stakes therefore are much higher for her too, because of not just appearing for a speeding ticket this time, she's appearing to have to answer for having caused someone's death. So the state is asking for a split bond. On the first count of homicide by vehicle in the second degree, we're asking for a $17,000 good bond. On the counts of improper lane change, driving with an agora, and too fast for conditions, we're asking for a $1,000 good bond in addition to that. On the other two counts of homicide by vehicle in the second degree, which are pled in the alternative, we're asking for a $5,000 signature bond on each of those offenses, preferably through pretrial, and then a $500 SOB on the seatbelt violation. And of course, no drugs or alcohol as well. That would give us a total bond of $30,500, good bond portion of it, $20,000, and the signature bond portion of it, $10,500.
Okay. All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, we would be requesting a signature bond from Ms. Redmond based on her lack of history. Looks like the only thing in her background was a speeding ticket from over 20 years ago. As experience would tell you, many people get speeding tickets, and it's my understanding that she did take care of that ticket. She is a high school graduate. She was driving a rental car at the time, which explains why there was an out-of-state plate on the car that was involved. She is a resident of Chicago, Illinois, but again, we have no reason to believe that she will not appear in court when she is ordered to answer to these charges. Again, based on the lack of history, we will be requesting a signature bond from Ms. Redmond.
Okay.
In addition, we feel that the bad weather at the time of this unfortunate accident was the cause.
Your Honor, just for clarification, that speeding ticket was not 20 years ago. It was in August of 2020.
Yeah, I believe that's what I said 2 years ago.
2 years.
Oh, I'm sorry, misunderstood.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, how old is Ms. Redmond?
She's 26 years of age, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, she was here in Atlanta visiting family.
Okay. And then what is her, does she work? What's her work history?
She's currently not working. She does not have any children. She resides with her mother.
Okay.
I do have contact information for a relative here in Atlanta.
But you did say that she's going to be living in New York.
No, the license plate on the car, I believe, was from the state of New York. That's because it was a rental car.
Oh, okay. I heard you say rental car, and that was the tag. But now her driver's license is Georgia or New York?
I believe it's Illinois because she resides in Chicago.
And we don't
Again,
know.
just because she's an out-of-state resident, I don't want that to for that to preclude her from getting a signature bond or a reasonable bond in this case.
Right. And she does have a relative in Georgia. And you stated that she does have a relative in Georgia as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I am going to order the split bond. The total of the $30,500 split bond with the $20,000 good bond, and then the $10,500 signature bond through pretrial. That would be 20,000, which is divided up as 17,000 good bond on the vehicular homicide, as well as let's see, let me do the math here. Then on the second, third, and fourth charges, that was $1,000 each. Correct, Ms. Gardner?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So that's the other 3,000, which would make, that's the 20,000 on the too fast for conditions, driving within a gore, and the improper lane change, that would be 3. So that's 20,000. And then the 10,000 would be on the other 2 vehicular homicide charges. 5,000 each on count 6 and 7, and then 500 on the seatbelt. And those will be the signature bond through pretrial bonds. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I assume you don't have your license, Ms. Redmond, so there will be no driving except for medical care and to see your attorney, unless you get some other type of provisional license through DDS, which I doubt it. So be careful to not drive. And this is further notice, correct?
Well, no, this would be set to the March
Oh, I'm
3rd.
sorry, SAP, March 3rd, if you don't bond out before that date, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Judge, can you break that down again for me, please?
all right, the first charge is going to be $17,000 good bond on the first vehicular homicide. The second charge, driving improper lane change, is $1,000 good bond. Third charge, driving within a gore, $1,000 good bond. And the fourth charge, too fast for conditions, $1,000 good bond.
Your Honor, I thought those were a pretrial.
Oh, hold on, I may be getting it incorrect.
My understanding were those were good bonds and that we were about to get to the signature bonds through pretrial.
Right, those first 4 charges are good bonds, isn't that correct? That added up to 20,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what I said. The first 4, pretrial and Miss Grace, are good bonds, 17,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, which equals 20,000 good bond. And then charge number 5 begins my signature bond, 500 on the seatbelt, 5,000 on count 6, which is homicide in the second, and 5,000 on count 7, homicide in the second. So that equals 10,500 split SOB through pretrial. Everybody clear?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you got it, Miss Grace? And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, no driving, except by permit from DDS or to see her attorney or for medical treatment. All right, that should conclude this matter unless there's anything else I need to take up.
No, that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have position 19, Ms. Zamora.
Okay. This is 22 CR 0000866F. And I believe that's Kaylee Zamora. Your charge is 1 count DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol concentration of 0.08 grams or more within 3 hours or more. Second charge of speeding. Third charge of driving improper erratic lane change, all with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. Pretrial.
Your Honor, GCIC indicates no prior history, and she does meet the criteria for UJR through pretrial. Nothing.
All right. All right, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state does concede that there are no prior arrests. However, she was speeding 62 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone and crossing over both the middle lanes in the same bound traffic and the center lane. So she was driving quite recklessly. We're asking for another split bond. In this case, a $2,500 good bond on the first count of DUI, 1,000 SOB on the speeding, 1,000 SOB on the lane change, no alcohol or drugs or weapons.
Okay. Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, I would be requesting a signature bond from Mrs. Zamora. At this time, these are merely allegations against her. She is age 23. She did attend some college. She is currently employed as at a dental office as well as a chiropractic clinic. Currently residing with her parents here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Again, I would remind the court that these are just allegations against her based on lack of criminal history. I would be requesting a signature bond.
All right, I'm going to order the split bond. I'm going to order the $2,500 good bond for the DUI. And I'm going to order the $1,000 signature bond for speeding, $1,000 signature bond for driving improper erratic lane change. So that's $2,500 good bond and $2,000 signature bond through pretrial for a total of a $4,500 bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, Ms. Zamora. Also, want you to know that you cannot drive unless you get a special permit from DDS or only to attend to medical care or to visit with your attorney. But you really shouldn't drive even for those purposes. All right. That should conclude this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Annex, be excused.
Yes, that's it for you.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank
Ms.
you. Have a
Melton.
good weekend.
Your Honor, it's courtroom 2, Officer Norris. We got position number 2, Ms. Selena Denifor.
Okay. All right, Selena Denifor. This is case number 22 CR 0000850E. You're charged with 1 count of driving following too closely, a 2nd count of driving hit and run, duty of a driver to stop at or return to the scene of an accident. The offense date is 3/29/2021. Pretrial, what do you have?
Your Honor, 12 cycles, last arrest February of 2022 for marijuana possession less than an ounce in Coweta County, Georgia. Record does indicate the defendant has an open case pending for theft by shoplifting, case 20 SC 176486. Record also indicates the defendant is currently on probation in Coweta County for theft by taking and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. I'm sorry, Your Honor. She's on probation for burglary, 3 counts. It's first offenders, case 17R00018, sentenced February of 2018, 1 year confinement and 9 years probation. Additional open probation for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana, case 21R004060, sentenced June of 2021, 12 months probation. Record indicates 3 violations of probation and 1 failure to appear within the past 10 years. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Falk, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, in this case, the defendant was driving her green Honda Accord, rear-ended a vehicle being driven by L. Davis. Defendant then exited the Accord and actually fled the scene in another vehicle prior to the officers arriving. Davis was able to positively identify the defendant through the DMV photo. And I think it is worth noting that the defendant has actually 2 FTAs. She has one from 2018, which pretrial accurately assessed. And then there is one where she currently is being held in the jail right now on FTA under 20 SC 176-486. That's that theft by shoplifting charge that has not yet been resolved here in Fulton County. Additionally, she does have a probation violation from 2020 and a probation violation from 2018. Based on that and the fact that she currently is actually sitting in the jail on an FTA, we think she is not a great candidate at all for a bond. And we are asking, her bond is currently set at $10,000, $5,000 per count. We are agreeable to a reduction to $6,000, $5,000 for the hit and run, and $1,000 for the following too closely. And that again is due to her FTAs, including the current one she is in jail on.
Okay. All right, Ms. Whitfield.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Dunifer is aware of the allegations. She's aware of the FTA and the theft by shoplifting charge. I believe she went to court.
I'll link that case. I don't know how we list that.
Hold on, Ms. Jennifer. Are you talking? Ms.
I
Jennifer?
believe it's
I think it's the one that states Melissa Grace needs to be muted.
Miss Melissa Grace, I'm sorry. Can you mute yourself? Miss Grace?
Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought it was coming from
No worries.
Coleman.
No worries.
Go ahead, Ms.
Yes,
Whitfield.
I believe she went to court this morning for her felony case. I'm not sure what the result of that was, Your Honor, but we would also be asking for a reduction in bond in this case to no more than $5,000. Total $2,500 per charge, Your Honor. She has lived in Georgia since the age of 6. She currently works at a preschool, and she also works serving tables, which is made rough by the fact that she has a pretty high risk pregnancy right now. She's due in July, Your Honor. She actually recently completed a drug rehabilitation program, quite an extensive one, and would like to continue the good path forward that she's made just in since she's completed that program. She just completed it very recently. She just moved into a new house with her husband. She is taking all the right steps to go forward. Your Honor, she was supposed to start another new job today. So at this time, Your Honor, we are asking for, again, to reduce the bond to no more than $5,000 surety for Ms. Dunifer.
All right. I am going to order that the bond be reduced to the 6,000 surety bond, 5,000 on the first charge, and 1,000 on the second charge. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And no driving while on bond unless she has a permit from DDS or to seek medical care or to visit her attorney.
Your Honor, just to
Thank you,
clarify, because the charges do fall differently on the calendar, that's 5,000 on the hit and run, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, I said it backwards. Thank you. I meant 5,000 on the second charge for hit and run and 1,000 on the driving following too close. Correct.
Thank you,
Sorry
Your
about-
Honor.
I was just wondering that. Thank you.
Mhm. Sorry about that. Did you get that, Ms. Grace?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, that should conclude this case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
We have nothing further.
All right. Who do we have next?
We have position number 4, Ms. Gunway, position number 4.
This is case number 22 CR 0000853A. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. Pre-trial?
And Your Honor, while pretrial is looking up the history, if I could ask that Ms. Gondaway is a cross warrant with Mr. Corey Fields. I was wondering if Your Honor would mind addressing both of those cases. My apologies, Claude Fields. If Your Honor would be inclined to address both those cases, I don't know if he is in courtroom too.
Is
Yes,
Mr.
he is,
Fields?
Your Honor.
Okay, can we have him next?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank
Your
you.
Honor, third cycle, last arrest, February of 2019 for aggravated assault in Atlanta, Georgia. Record indicated that case was dead docket August of 2019. GCIC did not indicate any convictions, Your Honor. He does meet the criteria for UJR through pretrial. Nothing further to add.
All right, thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, this was an altercation between these two individuals at 12160 Ocala, Ocala Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. It occurred when Ms. Gondaway called the police, stated she was woken up by Mr. Fields for snoring too loudly. Defendant Gondaway then left the room to smoke a cigar. Defendant Fields followed her, grabbed her by the neck, and left a scratch. Defendant Fields then denied that accusation and stated the Gondaway actually swung at him and scratched him on the arm. Officers were able to observe scratches on both parties, and because they were not able to determine a primary aggressor, both parties were arrested. I will say that the defendant does have that previous aggravated assault. Actually, upon further research on that case was sent to pretrial intervention. And in that case, she was alleged to have cut an individual, not the defendant, with a box cutter. And so based on that prior history, Your Honor, the state would recommend a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Corey Fields. My apologies, Claude Fields, and a stay away order from 12160 Ocala Avenue, Southwest Atlanta, as well as no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and 1-day anger awareness.
All right, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
With respect to the previous allegation concerning the aggravated assault, my client told me that at the time she was homeless and an unknown male tried to assault her, and she happened to have the box cutter, so she had to defend herself. And she does not have a conviction in that case, as was noted, since it was set to pretrial. She does not have any convictions at all, Your Honor. She and the defendant share a child, which was not mentioned, who's 16 months old. He has not legitimated the child. My client has no objection to staying away from the location in question. She has told me that she has somewhere that she can stay with her daughter. She would like to be able to go back to the location with police escort, Your Honor, so that she can get her clothing and the baby's property. I think she's a good candidate for signature bond, Your Honor. She's not in a position to pay for a good bond. So I would ask the court to give her a signature bond. She does have this small child that she has to take care of, and she has no convictions on her record.
Okay, and then tell me, to make sure I'm clear, Ms. McLeod, who lives at this Ocala Avenue residence?
And Mr. Fields' mom apparently is the owner of that property.
Okay, okay. And she has somewhere else to go live to?
Yes, Your Honor, she has somewhere else she says she can go and stay.
Okay, all right, I'm going to give a bond of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order that there be no further contact with Claude Fields. I'm going to order that there be a stay away from 12160 Ocala Avenue Southwest in Atlanta. I'm going to order that there be a one-time law enforcement escort back to the property to retrieve her personal belongings and those of her child. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to also order the 1-day anger awareness course. And I think that should conclude everything.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we would like to ask if there is any contact. I don't know if Mr. Fields wishes to have contact with the child, but any contact be through a third party.
Yes.
Yes, I was just about to request that.
Thank you. Right. Any visitation with the child would be conducted through third parties. Ms. Gandu, you need to make sure that you and Mr. Fields are not around each other, and that you find a third party that could facilitate that visitation so that you don't violate your bond conditions, okay? All right.
He has not legitimated the child, Your Honor, so, she's not obligated, but she probably does want him to see the child since he is the biological father.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, if so, find someone to facilitate that for you.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that should conclude this case.
Your Honor, we now have position number 3, Mr. Claude Fields.
All right. This is case number 22CR000852G. You're being charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. What do you have pretrial?
GCIC indicates no prior history. He does meet the criteria for UJR for pretrial.
Okay. All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. We're asking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Diana Gondwe, and that is actually spelled Gondwe. There was a misspelling on her booking paperwork. No alcohol, drugs, weapons, third-party contact with the child, and 1-day anger awareness.
Okay. All right, Ms. Whitfield.
Your Honor, we don't have any objections to those conditions. I believe that is what Mr. Fields anticipated and what I told him to likely expect. They do share the 1 child. He does take care of his 87-year-old mother who has dementia. What I spoke with Ms. Gondwe very briefly before I could let her know that conflict attorney was appointed in her case. She did let me know briefly that she wanted Mr. Fields to return to the house, so we would oppose a stay away. But Your Honor, yes, we would be asking for the same thing.
Okay.
And Your Honor, the state did not request a stay away in this case due to Ms. Gondwe's alternative residence.
Good. All right.
Just in case it came up, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. Going to order no further contact with Diana Gondwe. I'm going to order if there is any allowed visitation with the child, that it be through a third party. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that's it because there is no stay away from that location. Anything else that the 1-day anger awareness course, let me order that as well. All right, I think that concludes everything. If I left anything out, Ms. Walker, Ms. Whitfield?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, we have position number 4, Mr. Braxton George. Position number 1, I'm sorry. Position number 1, Mr. Braxton George.
All right. This is case number 22CR000849E. Kevin Braxton George, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence with the offense date of May 26, 2020. Do you have anything pretrial?
Yeah, GCIC indicates 15 cycles with 3 cycles out of Washington, D.C. Last arrest, April of 2019 for driving while license suspended or revoked. Failure to appear in Gwinnett County, Georgia. No disposition listed on that arrest. Record does indicate the defendant has 1 failure to appear and 2 violations of probation within the past 10 years. A 2017 obstruction of law enforcement officer's conviction. Nothing further to add.
All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened when officers were dispatched to 3041 Landham Drive, apartment 12B. They met with Darjalon Pearson, that is Darjalon, Pearson, Pearson. Ms. Pearson stated that she'd had an argument with the defendant, her boyfriend, who then punched her repeatedly in the face. She stated she went down to the kitchen, and at that point, the defendant grabbed a knife. So she fled the apartment and ran to the leasing office for help. And that's actually where the police reported to when they arrived at the location. I also want to point out that the defendant pled guilty to 2 counts of family violence battery under case 16 SC 148160 on February 2nd, 2017, and was later charged with family violence battery in 17 SC 151756, which was later null prossed. The state was able to determine that in both cases, it was the defendant's child's mother. However, it was not the victim in this case, Ms. Pearson. Also, what the state does have concerns about is that 2017 probation violation from Clayton County, a 2018 probation violation from the battery in Fulton County, and a 2020 probation violation arrest. The defendant also, and I need to point that out to the court, has a hold currently in the jail from Clayton County as well. And so with all of those things in consideration, the state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond. Stay away from 3041 Landrum, Landrum Drive, Southwest, apartment 12B. No further contact with Darjalon Pearson. And we are asking for a 2-week domestic violence course based on his history of domestic violence, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay. Oh, let's see, whose case is this?
This is my case, Your Honor.
Oh, Ms. Whitfield. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Braxton George, and speaking with him earlier, indicates that he and Miss Pearson have since gotten married. This warrant affidavit was from, the allegations are from May of 2020. Since then, they have not only gotten married, but they have been living together without any seeming issues. He was completely unaware of this warrant. He had no idea that it was out there, Your Honor. So he was not on scene at the time to speak with police to be able to relate his side of the story. So that chunk of that narrative is missing, Your Honor, at this time. He denies these allegations. He describes this altercation as simply verbal. He did not touch her at all. He has been, and regarding the foreign county hold out of Clayton County, he indicates to me that is for a suspended license charge. I couldn't get confirmation on that, Your Honor, but that is a traffic ticket that he says he's just hasn't had a chance to take care of yet. I did attempt to reach out to Ms. Pearson at the phone number that Mr. Braxton George provided to me. However, she did not answer. It was not accepting calls for some reason. I'm not sure if it was my number or what was going on. So I wanted to get in touch and see if she would be available to confirm whether or not she wanted him to return to the residence and have contact. They do share a step. I believe it's her child that he has since adopted as a stepchild now. Your Honor, he does have 2 other biological children. He has been in Atlanta for 5 years. Prior to that, he lived in Washington, D.C. He's completed some college, and he has been working on sort of a temporary basis out of a temp agency for more general labor. Your Honor, at this time, we'd be asking for a reasonable amount of bond and no more than $3,000 given a potential history. Again, he does deny these allegations. They have been living together since then, have been in contact, and have been co-parenting since then.
Do we know whose residence is on the Landrum Drive, or whose apartment? Is it both of them? Whose name's on the lease? Does anybody have any information on that?
I do not, Your Honor.
I believe they don't live at that residence anymore, the 3041 Landrum Drive apartment. I don't believe they live there anymore, Your Honor.
Okay. And I'm making sure I have a Opal Hadley. This is not the case that you're here for, is it, Miss Hadley?
That's another case, Your Honor.
Different case. All right. Well, I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. And I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. Ms. Pearson, is it Dajalon or Darjalon Pearson? I'm going to order a 2-week DV course. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And as far as the stay away from the incident location,
Your Honor, the state withdraws that if they are no longer living at that location.
right, then I will not order the stay away, but certainly no further contact at the moment with them. At this
And because they co-parent, Your Honor, would you allow third-party visitation for shared custody between children?
Yes,
Thank you.
third-party visitation with any of the children. All right, is that all we need to take up at this point?
That is all, Your Honor.
That's
All right, thank you. That will conclude this case.
Your Honor, we have position number 6, Mr. Michael Hendricks.
This is case number 22 CR 0000856J. Mr. Hendricks, you're charged with 1 count of fare evasion, 2nd count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and a 3rd count of carrying a weapon without a valid license with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. Do you have anything pretrial?
GCIC indicates 6 cycles. Last arrest, September of 2019, for possession of marijuana less than an ounce in Fulton County. Record does indicate the defendant has an open case pending in Fulton County for theft by receiving stolen property, fleeing or attempting to elude, and cruelty to the children, reckless driving, and reckless conduct. Case number 18 CP 175896. Record did not indicate any felony convictions. Your Honor, nothing further to add.
All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident began when the defendant pushed open the fare gate at the Ashby MARTA station at 65 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, Atlanta, and was stopped by officers. When officers stopped him, they observed he had a weapon inside of his jacket pocket, unholstered. The officers were able to confirm that he did not have a permit and could smell the strong odor of marijuana coming from his person. At that point, they also located a bag of less than an ounce of marijuana. The defendant does have a previous marijuana convictions of 2017 and 2019 in Fulton, although realistically speaking, it's not the marijuana that we're concerned about. What we are concerned about are these gun charges. The defendant currently has a $12,000 surety bond on this case, $10,000 on the carrying concealed weapon without a license, $1,000 each for the remaining charges. We are agreeable to a reduction to a $10,000 surety bond, $8,000 for the handgun, and $1,000 each for the remaining charges. Our main concern in this case is that the defendant is out on a $16,000 bond on that 18 CP 175896 case. Just to clarify, that cruelty to children was a cruelty to children in the 1st degree, which is one of the reasons why it is in felony division, as well as that fleeing and attempting to elude. So our concerns are we have a 26-year-old who has 2 prior marijuana convictions and a pending cruelty to child in the 1st degree fleeing and eluding case with a $16,000 bond, who thought it was a good idea to walk into a MARTA station with a loaded gun. So that is our concerns, and that is why we're asking for this bond.
All right, Ms. Whitfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hendricks has been living in Atlanta all of his life. He has all of his family here. He does stay with his little brother. He actually works, right now he works 3 jobs. One at Jimmy John's. He works at a sort of food distribution center for some Caribbean restaurants locally, and is a kitchen manager at Tin Lizzie's in right at Grant Park. He has some college credit, Your Honor. He does not have, we would be asking for the bond to be lowered at this time. The gun, he indicates, is registered to him. He does not have any prior felonies. There is no prior violent convictions on his record, Your Honor, that would prevent him from owning a gun. The only thing that he has done to warrant a stop in this case is evade a fare at the MARTA station. He had not behaved in any violent way, or there's nothing in the report to indicate that he's behaved in a violent way with this firearm, Your Honor. So we would be asking for a reduction, just as low as Your Honor can go, perhaps $5,000 for the carrying concealed weapon. I understand the concern with the firearm, but it is registered to him and he was not behaving in a violent manner with it, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $10,000 surety bond. I'm going to order that to be the $8,000 with the third charge of carrying a weapon without a license, and then $1,000 on each of the other two charges, the fare evasion and the marijuana charge, for a total of $10,000. Surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm assuming there's probably already a ban from that MARTA station. Don't know if I'll do all MARTA or just from that location. That was the Ashby station on Joseph B. Lowry, is that correct? Oh, can't hear you.
That's the information I have.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, that is our information, and we would ask for a stay away from that location. We're not asking for a ban from our MARTA stations, and the warrant didn't indicate whether they had given him a ban.
Oh, okay. So we'll just give him a stay away from that location. Mr. Hendricks, you're not to go back to that Ashby station while you're on bond. And if you do, you can be arrested again. And again, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on bond. And I think that is all that I need to take up at this time. Is that correct? Anything else?
That's all for the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
And that's
it?
all I got.
All right. All right. That will conclude your case. Thank you.
Your Honor, you have position number 8, Mr. Corey Mays, position number 8.
All right, this is case number 22 CR 0000855G. Mr. Corey Mays, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and a 2nd count of giving a false name, address, or birth date to law enforcement with the offense date of February 18, 2022. Do you have anything pretrial?
Your Honor, 43 cycles with history in Georgia and Florida. Last arrest, July of 2021. Probation violation in Douglas County, Georgia. Underlying charge was not indicated. Record does reflect the defendant appears to have an open case pending in Daytona Beach, Florida, for possession of cocaine, possession of Schedule I controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia, and disorderly conduct. That case number is 20302974. C, F like Frank, D like David, B like boy. Record also indicates the defendant is currently on probation for forgery, the 1st degree, and giving false name and date of birth to peace officer in Douglas County. Case 19 CR 00156. Record also indicates the defendant is currently has an additional open probation for aggravated assault in Fulton County. Case 18 SC 163538. Sentenced February of 2020, 5 years probation. Record indicates the defendant has 7 violations of probation and 3 failure to appear within the past 10 years. Misdemeanor convictions, 2016, forgery in the 4th degree, 2017, cruelty to the children in the 3rd degree, 2 counts, and battery. That was a NOLO plea, 2019, giving false name to peace officer, and a 2019 theft by shoplifting. He has 2 simple battery family violence conviction in 2012 and a 2014 criminal trespass. 1 felony and misdemeanor for identity theft and forgery in the 1st degree. Nothing further to add.
All right. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at the point at West Side that's located at 370 North Side Drive. And police were called out because a unit in building 2 was occupied when it should have been unoccupied and no one should have been inside. Officers went to that location. The door was unlocked. The refrigerator was pushed up against the door to prevent anyone from entering the location. The front door was also damaged. And when police were finally able to get inside the location, they saw soap suds in the bathroom and clothing on the floor as though someone had just showered at the residence. They eventually located the defendant in the closet under some clothing hiding. The defendant initially gave the name of Demetrius McCoy with the date of birth of 5/25/1994. A fingerprint scanner was finally able to ascertain the defendant's real identity. Your Honor, here's the state's concerns. At this point, the defendant is 31 years old and has more cycles than he has years on this earth. He has 43 cycles. I'm not going to go through them all. I just want to focus on the last 5 years. So in the last 5 years, he had probation violations from Cobb and Clayton. He had a 12-year probation case on a forgery and giving false name in 2019 in Douglas. He had a 2019 FTA on a Fulton County 18 SC case, as well as a 2019 giving false name from Forsyth and a 2019 FTA in Douglas and a 2020 FTA from Fulton again on that same 18 SC case that he had an FTA on in 2019. He also has a probation violation in 2020 for a theft by shoplifting out of Chamblee and 2 probation violations in 2021 in Douglas and Cumming. This is just not the guy that you would want to bet a signature bond on. His history is atrocious. I didn't even know about the case in Florida, to be candid with the court. We were just focused on the 43 cycles, and that's everything we got just in the last 5 years, including those, and I cannot say this enough, the 2 FTAs on the case he still has pending here in Fulton County. I have no confidence whatsoever he plans on returning to court if given a bond, especially if given a signature bond. The state's request, the bond is currently set on this for $2,000, $1,000 per count. I also failed to mention the defendant has an outstanding warrant that he's being currently held in jail for in Douglasville for a probation violation. We are asking that his current bond be raised to $2,500 per count for a total of a $5,000 surety bond. We are further asking for a stay away from the point at West Side at 370 North Side Drive, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, Ms. Whitfield?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are asking the court to, as much as I realize it would be fruitless in light of his extensive criminal history, Your Honor, and prior FTAs and probation violations, to ask for a signature bond. We're asking the court to keep his bond amount the same, even though he cannot post bond at all. He cannot afford to, Your Honor, in taking into account his financial situation. He was released from DOC custody back in December for serving 6 months on that forgery charge that I believe you heard about. He's been working with a staffing agency. However, it has not been going well. Work has been very slow, especially with Omicron, and he's just been trying to get back on his feet, Your Honor. He indicates to me part of the reason why he has found himself in this situation is that he was trying to do this himself. And he does have his father, and he has some cousins who live here in town. But he has been trying to go it alone and to make it happen by himself. And realizing that, I did talk with him about, I think this is time to ask somebody for help to help you, because you might end up here. So, Your Honor, we're asking for the bond to remain the same. If Your Honor would consider a signature bond so that he can be released to the Douglas County hold, that is for that probation violation. He does indicate that he has an address where he can receive mail. He can come back to court. He does realize the nature of these charges and that he does have a requirement to return, especially if he starts leaning on the community support that does exist here in town for him. But Your Honor, at this point, we'd be asking you to leave it the same.
All right. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond, given his history, $2,500 on each of the two charges. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Going to order stay away from 370 Northside Drive, which is is it point at West Side?
Yes, Your Honor, it is the point at West Side.
Point at West Side. I'm going to say to stay away from that whole complex, including 370 Northside Drive. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that will conclude this matter unless I've left off anything.
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
We have position number 9, Mr. Robert McCarter. Position number 9.
This is case number 22 CR 0000857Y. Robert McCarter. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Actually, 3 counts of simple battery family violence, 3 counts, with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. Do you have anything pre-trial?
Yeah, the GCIC indicates second arrest. First arrest was June of 2001 for battery, simple battery in Fulton County. No disposition was listed on that arrest. He does meet the criteria for UJR for pre-trial. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Miss Miss Gardner, I'm sorry.
That's fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
In this case, the allegations are that Mr. McCarter was having a verbal argument with his 18-year-old son, Kendrell McCarter. Kendrell is Kendrell. And that argument escalated, and Mr. Robert McCarter grabbed his son around the throat, slammed him against a wall, punched him in the face, and threw him down the stairs. Micah McCarter, Mr. Kendrell McCarter's 14-year-old brother, witnessed all of this and described all these events to the responding officer. The state contends that there has not been a sufficient cooling off period. The assault that is alleged is quite violent, and it was witnessed by a child in the household. We did see this previous battery, simple battery. It is a family violence designation, but no disposition on that. In light of his limited history, but some indication of a pattern, and the fact that all of this was done in the presence of a child, the state is asking for a $1,500 good bond on each of the offenses for a total of $4,500 good bond. Stay away from the residence that they share at 585 McDaniel Street Southwest in Atlanta. No further contact with Kendrell or Micah McCarter, and the 2-week DV course. No drugs or alcohol or weapons either, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Whitfield.
Yes, Your Honor. My client vehemently denies these allegations. Mr. Kendrell, his 18-year-old son, who's the named victim in this case, Mr. McCarter, my client, was in the process of telling him to leave the house. In this verbal argument that they were having, he believes that he indicates to me that his son actually threw himself down the stairs and called the police to essentially get what he wanted. He denies these allegations. He believes that his brother Micah might also be under the influence of Kendrell to also, I'm not sure what, Your Honor, but might have taken his brother's side here for no other reason than he's his brother. He has, it's my understanding too that the Kendrell and Micah are not in the residence anymore. They have been, they are now staying with their mothers. They have separate mothers, Your Honor. And basically, Mr. McCarter has 3 children who live with him, Kendrell, Micah, and another child. Kendrell and Micah are now staying with their respective mothers. And Miss Hadley, who I believe Your Honor addressed earlier in another case, is here for Mr. McCarter. That is his mother, and can shed light to where each child has gone. So they are no longer living in the house at this time. So we would oppose a stay away because that is Mr. McCarter's house, and he also has another child to take care of, and does not have contact with the other child's mother to transfer custody or do anything like that. So he would basically be staying in the house by himself if Your Honor imposed a stay away. He has been working for MARTA for 11 years as a driver. He played football at Georgia Southern University. He's been in Atlanta since 1989. He does not oppose a no contact provision with Kendrell. He also, now that Kendrell is out of the house, he also, I don't want to say there has not been a sufficient cooling off period, but we would like that to continue to cool, Your Honor, with a no contact provision. And if Your Honor would want to hear from Ms. Hadley to confirm, and if the state would like to hear from Ms. Hadley to confirm the custody situation of Kendrell, or I guess the living situation of them, so that Mr. McCarter can return to the house, I would, she is on the line if you would like to hear her, Your Honor. At this time, we'd be asking for a signature bond, Your Honor. He has not had any arrests in 21 years now. There is no prior conviction that we can see for that prior arrest. I'm not sure how 21 years could be a pattern, Your Honor, but this is not something that, with Kendrell out of the house, let's let things cool so that Mr. McCarter can continue to go to work and that he can return to his residence.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $4,500 signature bond through pretrial. And that will be $1,500 on each of the charges for a total of $4,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order the 2-week DV course. I'm going to order a stay away from Kendrell McCarter and Micah McCarter. I'm going to order that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for any prescriptions prescribed by a physician. I'm going to not do the stay away and let me hear from my witness on that, but it sounds like that there's not going to be a need for the stay away if the children are living with their respective mothers since this incident, but I'll confirm it for sure. But I won't do a stay away just yet. Let me see what this witness tells me if I need to amend my bond order or not, okay? All right, Ms. Hadley, can you unmute yourself, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do you wish to address the court?
Yes.
Okay, so if you do, can you raise your right hand for me first? Let me swear you in first. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, put your hand down for me. And what would you like to tell me about this incident that you know of?
I know for a fact both Kendrell and Micah's mothers have put them out because of the disrespect they have for adults and their parents. I know Robert is a single parent, and I know he was trying to tell his son not to stay out all night and do the things he has been doing, my grandson. And that's when Kendrell became abusive and said the things that he was saying. As far as Kendrell, definitely is gone. I know Robert has been struggling to be the father he wants his son to be. And it's a family situation where these young men need their dads, but they are disrespectful, very disrespectful to the
So to
dad,
your
and he's
knowledge,
trying very hard to shape them.
right, I understand. To your knowledge, at this point, though, both children are Kendrell for sure, or both children have gone back with their mothers?
Kendrell for sure. Micah, we are a family that try to assist my son in everything. And Robert's dad has Micah now. We have been in touch with Micah's mother, who does not want him because of the way he is also. But Robert is the only one paying the bill, so he can't stay away. And he up, like you said, 21 years. The other charges were dropped. He is my child that I've never had to have concern with. He loves his children. His calls last night, he was still worried. Mama, is Kendrell, where is he? Still concerned on making sure that someone was seeing about his children.
Okay, I can understand that. Right now, I've got a no further contact with Kendrell and Micah, as stated, so that there will be a cooling off, and it sounds like they both will have somewhere else to stay while Mr. McCarter is on bond, because I do want to make sure that there are no other incidences that occur while
That's
he's
definitely.
on bond.
Your Honor, if I may, what I heard was that both boys have been put out by their mothers, that no one knows where Kendrell is, who's probably out on the street hiding from his father, and Micah has been taken in by a relative.
One.
Go ahead, Ms. Gardner.
So it appears that Kendrell, who allegedly was quite victimized in this circumstance, treated quite harshly, is out with nowhere to go.
He's back with his mother.
Yes, I think she said he was back with his mother, Your Honor. That was my understanding.
Or you were saying the mother had initially put him out, came to live with Mr. McCarter, and now the mother is taking him back?
Mother has put, Kendrell has had quite a show. He went and stayed with his grandfather, stole the grandfather's car, totaled that, went back to the mother. Mother put him out. Robert had him before. Then when he doesn't want to go to school, his mother tries. His mother just absolutely put him out. Last night, we were told he was back with his mother.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, he needs to get the message to him. The court is very concerned as well. And we want him to be respectful to whomever he's staying with. But right now, he can't stay with his father.
That's correct.
So we want to make sure of that. And I'm going to continue to stay away with both children for right now. And, something else that can be addressed later. But right now, I will not do a stay away, obviously, from the McDaniel Street, because that is where Mr. McCarter lives. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there would not be a stay away, but the two children need to stay away from that location. And Mr. McCarter, I know you care about your children, but right now they cannot come back to stay with you while you're on bond, because I don't want you rearrested as well for violating the conditions. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on bond. And I'm going to order that 2-week domestic violence course as well. through pretrial. No, it's not through pretrial. Let me scratch that, but just the 2-week course as well. And so that, I think that concludes this matter. If there's anything else from the state or from Ms. Whitfield that I need to take up.
Nothing further from us, Your Honor. I believe the no contact provision is suitable for all parties in this case.
Right, okay. All right, that will conclude this case. Good luck to you, Mr. McCarter.
Thank you, Ms. Hadley.
Thank you.
Can Ms. Hadley be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may be excused, Ms. Hadley. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
luck to you as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Position number 11, Mr. Parrish, position number 11.
All right, this is case number 22 CR 0008588H. Mr. Paul Nelson. And you're being charged with 1 count of battery family violence. I'm
No, I
sorry.
think this is
Position
position
number 11.
11.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Parish.
Wrong case. I apologize. 22 CR 0000868G. Philtravius Parish. You're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. Is that correct? All right. Go ahead, pretrial.
Your Honor, third arrest, last arrest, October of 2021, for criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, terroristic threats and acts in Conyers, Georgia. No disposition was listed on that arrest. It appears to be an open case. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Your Honor. And this case came about yesterday when Mr. Parrish entered the Quick Trip at 855 Peachtree Street Northeast in Atlanta and entered the bathroom of that Quick Trip and stayed there. The manager asked him to leave and he refused to leave and stayed without consent and in spite of being told to leave. While his history is not overwhelming, it is recent. He has a serious open case in another county now. The state would ask for a $2,000 good bond and stay away from that Quick Trip at 855 Peachtree Street Northeast. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I would be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Parrish. Again, only 3rd arrest. I did not hear of any convictions. Mr. Parrish did attend some college. He's currently employed at Labor Staffing, 23 years of age, lifelong resident of Atlanta, Fulton County. I remind the court that these are just allegations against my client at this time, that this is a nonviolent offense. Again, we will be requesting a signature bond.
He stated that he worked at a staffing agency.
Yes, Labor Staffing.
Okay. Does he have other family here or does he live alone? He's 23.
No, he's not living with family right now.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Your Honor, he
Yeah.
is residentially challenged, and that would be a problem for pretrial.
If there's a problem with pretrial, we would ask that the signature bond be granted through the jail.
Okay. I will change his signature bond through the jail for $2,000. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the QT at 855 Peachtree Street Northeast. Mr. Parrish, you're not to go back to that location or else you will be immediately arrested again. So stay away from the QT on Peachtree Street and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. It's a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. All right. And as soon as you get an address or mailing information You need to send that, bring that down or bring that information back to the clerk's office at the courthouse, or give it to your attorney, Mr. Coleman, and stay in touch so that you don't miss a court date. All right? All right. You're welcome.
Your position number 18, Mr. Young.
This is case number 22 CR 0000851G. Rontavious Young. You're charged with one count of theft by shoplifting. The offense date is February 17th, 2022. Pretrial, do you have anything?
Your Honor, 19 cycles. Last arrest September of 2021 for probation violation in Clayton County. Underlying charge is criminal damage to property, second degree. Record indicates the defendant is currently on first offender's probation in Clayton County for robbery, case 18 CR 02530, sentenced July of 2018, 5 years probation. Additional open probation for criminal damage to property, second degree, 20 CR 01106, sentenced July of 2020, 1 year confinement and 4 years probation. Record indicates the defendant has 4 violations of probation within the past 10 years, 2 misdemeanor convictions, 2017 theft by shoplifting and a 2014 theft by taking misdemeanor. Nothing further to add.
All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, defendant entered the Walmart at 844 Cleveland Avenue in East Point, Georgia, picked up a deli plate and an alcoholic beverage and began walking around the store eating and drinking those items. He was then taken into custody as he was about to walk out the store without paying for the items he had just consumed. The total value of the items was $15.83. The defendant recently just pled to a time served plea on 2 cases in Fulton County, one for criminal trespass, obstruction, and fare evasion, and then one for disorderly conduct. He also has those open cases in Clayton County for robbery from 2018 and criminal damage to property in the second degree. Furthermore, he has a 2019, 2020, and 2021 probation violations all out of Clayton County based on that previous robbery conviction. And he has that 2022 arrest for burglary in Clayton County. The defendant's bond is currently $1,000 surety bond. We are asking that remain a $1,000 surety bond due to the defendant's multiple probation violations and his history, as well as his 2 most recent cases here in Fulton County. We do believe he is a risk of reoffense. We are also requesting a stay away order from the Walmart at 844 Cleveland Avenue and a theft course.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I'll be requesting a signature bond, or in lieu of that, a low bond from Mr. Young. I will remind the court at this time, these are just allegations against my client. Mr. Young is 30 years of age. He does have his GED. He's currently employed at People Ready, the father of 1 child, age 2. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond, or in lieu of that, a low bond from Mr. Young.
All right, does he qualify the pretrial?
He does not.
Okay.
He has 2 open probation.
Yeah, if the court is inclined to give a signature bond, I request that it be through the jail if pretrial cannot accommodate.
Your Honor, and my response to that would be his pretrial cannot accommodate it because he's a risk, because he has probation violations and his record doesn't entitle him to treatment through pretrial services. That speaks more than anything about this situation.
All right. I'm going to order a $1,000 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and a stay away from the Walmart at 844 Cleveland Avenue, and a theft course as well. But I will continue with the $1,000 surety bond for now. And like I say, stay away from that Walmart on Cleveland Avenue. So if you get out on bond, Mr. Young, you're not to return to that Walmart.
Why not?
All right.
Excuse me, what if I can't, find out?
Your, yeah, your case is going to be reset for March the 3rd. Unless you make bond prior to that time.
Well, I can't make mine.
All right.
Your Honor, we got position number 10, Mr. Nelson.
This is case number 22 CR 0008588H. Paul Nelson, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence with the offense date of February the 18th, 2022. You have any pretrial?
The GCIC indicates 21 cycles with history in Georgia, Alabama, and North Carolina. Last arrest, October of 2020, for willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, disorderly conduct in Cobb County. No disposition was listed in that arrest. Record indicates one failure to appear within the past 10 years, and he has 2 misdemeanor convictions outside the 10-year period. One in North Carolina and the other is in Alabama. He has a 2018 disorderly conduct conviction in Georgia. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim in this case is Diane Nelson, who is Mr. Nelson's mother. The incident occurred in their home at 3086 Lone Oak Avenue Southwest here in Atlanta. Yesterday evening, Mr. Nelson was drinking in his bedroom. He was found by the officer with various liquor bottles lying around on the ground near his reach. When the officer arrived, he appeared highly intoxicated. He had red, watery eyes, slurred speech, and he had an odor of alcohol coming from his breath. The incident began when the victim, his mother, asked him to turn down the loud music that he was playing. And in response, Mr. Nelson became enraged and punched her in the mouth with a closed fist, causing a visible laceration in her mouth with blood dripping on her shirt when the officers arrived. The state is also quite concerned about some of these cycles in Alabama. On September 1st, 2011, he was arrested for domestic violence in the 3rd degree. There is no disposition listed for that. On April 18th of 2014, he was arrested again for domestic violence. And again, there's no disposition on that. So it is likely that this case will be transferred to the DA's office once we do acquire the dispositions on those cases. Has not been a sufficient cooling off period. The incident report alleges quite a violent assault on his own mother in her home. So we'll be asking for a $5,000 good bond, no further contact with his mother, Diane Nelson, stay away from their home at 3086 Lone Oak Avenue Southwest, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while he's on bond, and the 2-week DV course. And that's also considering the FTA that he has.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, in spite of my client's criminal history, I would still be requesting a signature bond on his behalf. One of that, a low bond. He is 37 years of age. He is a high school graduate, currently employed at J&J Moving Company. I only heard one FTA in his background, despite his somewhat lengthy criminal history, I did not hear any convictions for any violent offenses. Again, I remind the court that these are just allegations against my client at this time. I will be requesting a signature bond or a low bond on his behalf.
All right. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. A no further contact with the victim, Diane Nelson. Stay away from 3086 Lone Oak Avenue Southwest. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And a 2-week DV course as well. And I think that should conclude everything. Anything else, Ms. Gardner?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Coleman?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount?
$5,000 surety bond.
Thank you. Now, position number 7, Mr. Cortez Hicks.
This is case number 22 CR 0000854Y. Mr. Cortez Hicks, you're charged with 1 count of lauder prowling, a 2nd count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and a 3rd count of carrying a weapon without a valid license, all with the offense date on February the 18th, 2022. Do you have anything pre-trial?
Your Honor, GCIC indicates 3 cycles. Last arrest, September of 2019 for public indecency in Peach City, Georgia. No disposition listed on that arrest. Record does indicate the defendant has a 2014 misdemeanor conviction for obstruction of law enforcement officers and carrying a weapon without a license. He received first offender's treatment and it was sealed 2015. Nothing further to add.
All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This was an incident where officers were patrolling the parking deck over at the Sandy Springs MARTA station at 9:30 in the morning. They observed the defendant hiding behind the door in the stairwell area of the parking deck. When questioned, the defendant admitted that he did not have a car in that parking deck. The defendant would not comply with the officer's request for him to put his hands where they could see him. So at that point, the officers placed handcuffs on him for officer safety. And after being placed in handcuffs, a handgun fell from the defendant's pocket of the defendant's sweater or sweatshirt. And he also had a medicine bottle with less than an ounce of marijuana on his person. As pretrial has accurately informed the court, the defendant does have that 2015 carrying a weapon without a license where he did use first offender. He also has a previous 2013 marijuana less than an ounce where he used conditional discharge. There is currently a bond of $12,000 on this case, a surety bond, $10,000 for the carrying a concealed weapon without a license, $1,000 each for the remaining charges. The state would ask that bond remain the same, and here is why. The carrying a weapon without a license, the defendant has already been put on notice with that 2015 case that he cannot have a handgun on his person. But what really concerns the state is what was going on, the circumstances of the events of that day. The fact that he's in the Sandy Springs MARTA station parking deck, he does not have a car there. He's hiding in a stairwell behind a door, and he's got a handgun on him. I have no idea what was going on or what could have happened, and I'm not going to sit here and speculate about that. But what I will say is the circumstances are really concerning. That coupled with the fact that the officer asked the defendant repeatedly to show his hands so that the officer could see him. The defendant did not comply, at which point handcuffs were placed on him, and at which point a handgun fell out of his clothing. So based on all of those circumstances, the state has some pretty serious concerns here, and we are asking that bond remain the same. We are further asking that the defendant stay away from all MARTA stations. So on this one, we are not just asking for the particular MARTA station he was at, we are asking for a stay away order from all MARTA stations, and that he have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as provided. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Whitfield?
Yes, Your Honor. So as I spoke with Mr. Hicks this morning, he indicated to me that he actually, just to clear the air, he does have a current updated concealed carry permit. He was not presented with a chance to present that with the officer. At the time, basically that day he had grabbed his expired license that he had off of his desk. He took that with him instead of his current updated one. He offered the officer to look it up in the system, and apparently the officer refused. So he apparently does have an updated license to carry a concealed weapon. I have obviously not seen proof of that, Your Honor, given that Mr. Hicks has been in custody and we're not able to look that up rapidly, but I did want to point that out. He is legally allowed to carry that weapon and have a concealed permit. Your Honor, the defense has a number of concerns with how Mr. Hicks was approached, maybe the way he was spoken to by the officer, or basically the purpose of the detainment in the first place, that Mr. Hicks would like to see go forward at another hearing date. So he would absolutely, be willing to come back to court, not only present proof of his license, but also to challenge the reason for the stop in the first place. He indicated to me that he had taken MARTA that day, as anyone is allowed to do. He was exiting through the parking lot or through the parking deck when he was approached. So he is not sure what happened there. He also indicates that because of the way the officer was speaking to him, he attempted to reach for his cell phone to record the incident and could not find it. And that's when the officer decided to make the arrest. He has lived in Atlanta most of his life. He lives in Stockbridge with his mother, so he does live here. He does have a tie to the community. Right now, he's currently unemployed. However, he just finished a welding program, and he is in the process of joining a union for that. He does have his associate's degree from Georgia Perimeter College. We would ask, Your Honor, to lower the bond. Of course, again, I understand that this does involve a handgun. I understand that the allegation is serious, but he was not, again, behaving in a violent way to suggest that there was anything else going on. The state did not want to speculate, but they're pretty much asking you to speculate what happened here, or what Mr. Hicks's intentions were that yesterday. So we would ask, Your Honor, to lower the bond as you see reasonable. Yes, at this time, that's our request, Your Honor.
Okay.
Excuse me, Your Honor, can I say something?
Mr. Hicks, I would advise you that you have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent right now. If you want to discuss anything about the case, you can talk with me first, and then I can see if that is anything that we need to address with the court.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I am ready to give my ruling. I'm going to continue with the $12,000 surety bond, with the $10,000 on carrying the weapon, $1,000 possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and $1,000 bond amount on the loitering prowling, for a total of $12,000 surety bond. I am going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order that you, Mr. Hicks, stay away from all MARTA locations while you're on bond. You're not to go back to any of the MARTA locations nor use their services. And I think that will conclude this matter.
Sorry, mind if I say something? And I have personal property. Like, my personal property is at the MARTA's headquarters, the police headquarters. So.
Oh, he's wondering how to retrieve his personal property from MARTA police.
And again, I can show proof of these things that I have.
I am not for sure what to say about that, except that if he makes bond and gets out, then obviously he can contact MARTA's customer service or their headquarters to find out what that process is. But if it's being held in evidence while he's on bond, he may not be able to get it. So I'm not even for sure if Marta still has it or if it is somewhere else. So you would have to check on that once you're released on bond, if you make bond. Okay. All right, that will conclude this case. What do we have
Your
next?
Honor.
Mhm.
Robinson. Position 13 and position 14, Mr. Robinson.
Okay. All right, the first case I have is 22 CR 000-861A. Nicholas, I don't know if it's Roberson or Robertson, theft by taking, the offense date of 2/7/22. And then I have a second case, 22 CR 00862A, with driving defective or no tail light and driving with a suspended license with the offense date of 2/18/2022. Pretrial, what do you have?
Sit down.
Sorry, you're on mute, Ms. Harrison.
I apologize.
Uh-huh.
22 Cycles, last arrest February of 2022 for driving while license suspended or revoked in Fulton County. No disposition listed in that arrest. Record indicates the defendant is currently on first offender's probation for criminal damage to property, second degree, battery, driving while license suspended or revoked, and simple assault in Henry County. Case 21 CR 00217, sentenced February of this year, 5 years probation. Record indicates a 2020 driving while license suspended conviction. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding the case 22 CR 000-861A, on February 7th of this year, 2022, APD was contacted by Mr. Christopher McCord, who had been hired by FCS Urban Ministry to prevent lumber from being taken from a construction site at 82 Meldon Avenue in Atlanta. And as I said, that is a construction site where a home is being built. When Mr. McCord arrived at the property, he saw two people already loading up the wood and then driving away in the wrong direction up Meldon Avenue. He took video of this. The suspects left in a tan-colored GMC truck with a trailer behind it. The trailer had no tag, and there was heavy body damage to the passenger side rear of the truck. And the lumber was bouncing around in that utility trailer. The defendant was then located on Metropolitan Parkway with the described truck and the lumber still in the trailer. We request that the bond is currently set at $2,500 good bond. We request that the bond remain the same because he is already on probation for violent felonies in another county. We see that in '93, he was convicted for carrying a pistol without a license. He's had numerous convictions for driving while his license is suspended. We have those in 99, 2004, 2008, 2020, again, showing a complete disregard for the state's rules. And again, he's already on probation while committing these three separate offenses that are before the court now. So we ask that the bond stay the same in this case, $2,500 good bond, that he stay away from Meldon Avenue, particularly 82 Meldon Avenue, and that he take the theft course. With regard to case number 22 CR 000-862A, in that case, he was driving a 2009 GMC Sierra on I-75 southbound. The officer behind him noticed that his left tail light was not working properly. And when he stopped him, he found that his license was suspended on December 6th at this time for a failure to appear on September 7th, 2021. So for all of the reasons stated before and the reason for the suspension of his license, we're asking for a split bond in this case, $1,500 good bond on the driving while license suspended charge and a $500 signature bond on the defective tail light.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I will be requesting a signature bond on lieu of that, a low bond for Mr. Roberson. He is 48 years of age. He is a high school graduate. He is self-employed doing home improvement work. I will remind the court that the allegations against him are nonviolent offenses. I did not hear any violent convictions in his history. I will be requesting again a signature bond or a low bond for Mr. Roberson.
All right.
Your Honor, I apologize if I misspoke. I thought that I heard pretrial mention the First Offender Act being felony offenses and violent. Did she mention an aggravated assault?
Is that true, Ms. Harrison?
It was simple assault, criminal damage to property, second degree, but it is first offender, yes.
Okay. And what year was that?
He was just sentenced this month. 5 years probation in Henry County.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the first case, the 0861A, the theft by taking from February the 7th. On that case, there is presently a $2,500 good bond. And so I will lower that to a $1,500 good bond with no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on probation, while on bond, and a stay away from the 82 Meldon Avenue in Atlanta. If you get out on bond, Mr. Roberson, you're not to go back to that location, that construction site. And I think that should conclude on that case. On the second case.
What about theft course, Your Honor?
Oh, and I'm sorry, and a theft course. Add that. And then on the second case, the 0862A, I'm going to grant a signature bond through the jail on this case. And that will be in the amount of $2,000, $1,500 on the defective tail light, and $500 on the license suspended or revoked, for a total of $2,000 signature bond on that case through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm sorry? Was that for me, Deputy, or? I'm not for sure who that was. It sounded like the deputy. But anyway, I did say no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and obviously no driving, since you may not even have a license anyway, unless you get one from DDS. All right, Mr. Roberson. All right, is there anything else, Ms. Gardner or Mr. Coleman?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
That's good.
Excuse me, ma'am. How did I get a driving permit? Because I stay in Henry County and most of my work is in Atlanta.
Well, you've been driving without a license, so I'm sure they're suspended still. So you need to go to DDS if you make bond and get out, and they will tell you. Usually there's fines and money and things of that nature that you have to pay in order to get your license back. But there's also a suspension period as well. So DDS will tell you what it will take to get your license back.
So how much my bond is today?
Today on your first case with the theft case, it's a $1,500 good bond. And on the second case, it's a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. So you still have to clear your good bond on your first case.
So I can pay to get out today?
I told you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They'll explain that to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
On your first case, you have to get a bond. On your second case, it's a signature bond. you can sign out yourself. But you have two different cases, two different type bonds. Signature bond on the first, I'm sorry, surety bond on the first and signature bond on the second. Okay, all right.
Got position number 16, Mr. Khalil Terry.
All right.
16.
This is case number 22 CR 0000863A. Mr. Khalil Terry, you're charged with one count of disorderly conduct on February 28th, 2020. You have pre-trial.
There are 9 cycles. Last arrest, December of 2020 for theft by shoplifting, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, possession of firearm or knife during the commission or attempt to commit certain felonies, aggravated assault 2 count, and simple assault, terroristic threats in Clayton County. Record indicates the defendant is currently on probation for theft by shoplifting, terroristic threats, and aggravated assault in Clayton County. Case number 21CR01185, sentenced February 17th of this year, 5 years probation. 1 violation of probation within the past 10 years, and a 2020 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass, and a 2020 theft by taking misdemeanor, which he pled no. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Your Honor. In this case, on the victim is Alicia Butler, who is his sister, and they lived in the same home. And on February 28th of 2020, excuse me, I apologize. I put that in the wrong one.
Okay.
In this case, he was at the Tropical Smoothie Cafe at Moore's Mills Shopping Center at 2275 Marietta Boulevard. The victim, Alicia Butler, is a security officer for Moore's Mills Shopping Center, and she was sitting at a table at the Tropical Smoothie Cafe while he was in there. He became angry with her, and then he intentionally and aggressively swung his arm across her table, knocking her cell phone off the table and onto the floor. She tried to tell him he was not welcome in the establishment because he has been regularly creating disturbances, never buys anything, and they suspect he's the one who might be damaging the restroom, so they were asking him to leave. In response, he approached her aggressively and raised his hands as if to hit her. Another employee in the establishment came to her assistance, picked up her phone and put it back on the table. He knocked the cell phone off the table again, and the report indicates that this entire incident was captured on surveillance cameras within the establishment. Now, Your Honor, there are actually 2 charges again on this case. There's disorderly conduct towards her person and the disorderly conduct property. This was the same Odyssey problem where it would not let me send both charges at the same time, so I had to send them separately with the note saying that they were in batches. There is a case number entered for the other charge. It's C22CR00864, again without a letter. So that would need to be added to this case. And again, as we heard, he is currently on probation for several offenses, including aggravated assault and terroristic threats, I believe is what I heard. He has this 2020 case in Clayton County. I do not believe that disposition is on that case. I believe it is still open, if I heard correctly, for the same charges. The state is asking for a $1,500 good bond on each of the 2 counts of disorderly conduct, particularly given his record. In addition to what was mentioned, there is also a simple assault arrest in 2009. Then he was convicted on simple assault, family violence, and simple battery, family violence, criminal trespass ×2. There's a burglary in the 2nd degree, and he was that was reduced. He was convicted to criminal trespass, 2 counts of that. In addition to the $1,500 good bond on each charge, we'd ask that he stay away from Moore's Mill Shopping Center, the complete entire complex at 2275 Marietta Boulevard, that he have no contact with Alicia Butler. He probably doesn't know her, but in an abundance of caution, we'd ask that he have no contact with her, and a one-day anger management course.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Terry or in lieu of that, a bond of no more than $500 to $1,000. He is 22 years of age. He went as far as the 10th grade. He is currently unemployed, therefore he has no money to post for bond. He is presently residing with his parents. Again, I would remind the court that these at this time are just allegations against my client. I'd be requesting a signature bond.
And Judge, I will make the correction and make sure both charges are on the counter and in the system. Thank you for letting me know that, Ms. Gardner.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to order a surety bond in the amount of $2,000, $1,000 on each charge of disorderly conduct. So that'll be a $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Alicia Butler, the security guard at that location. I'm going to order a stay away from the Moore's Mill Shopping Center, which is 2275 Marietta Boulevard, including the tropical smoothie, but the whole entire shopping plaza. Is that what it is, Ms. Gardner?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, to stay away from that plaza, Mr. Terry. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons if you make bond while on bond. And a one-day anger awareness course. You get out on bond as well. All right. Is there anything else to take up?
Nothing for the state, Your Honor.
All right. That will conclude this.
No,
matter.
Your Honor.
We have position number 17, Mr. Williams, position number 17.
Excuse me. This is number 22 CR 000867G. Andreas Williams. You're being charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence and 1 count of battery family violence, all with the offense date on 11/14/2021. Do you have anything pre-trial?
Yeah, GCIC indicates 5 cycles. Last arrest, August of 2016 for probation violation in Fulton County. Underlying charge is possession of Schedule 4 controlled substance. Record indicates the defendant is currently on probation in Cobb County for possession of amphetamine, simple battery, and giving false name. He is currently on first offenders, case number 179569, sentenced September of 2016, 5 years probation. 1 violation of probation within the past 10 years, 2015 misdemeanor conviction for carrying a weapon without a license, and a 2014 possession of Schedule 4 controlled substance. He was offered first offenders. It is not indicated if it's been sealed. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Gardner.
Thank you, Your Honor. I misspoke before, but this is indeed the case where the victim is Natasha Duffy, who is defendant's sister. On November 14th, 2021, they were living in the same home at 680 Grant Terrace Southeast in Atlanta. And on that day, they were arguing about cleaning up the home, and apparently Mr. Williams did not appreciate Ms. Duffy touching his belongings while she was cleaning. The argument escalated, and the defendant choked the victim. This was witnessed by Ms. Antonia Williams. Defendant then grabbed the victim by her neck and threw her down onto the sofa in the living room. The victim sustained a laceration to her inner lip and scratches on her face. As we have heard, the defendant is currently on probation for some serious drug offenses and battery. He has felony charges in the past upon which he's been pled guilty or been convicted. He's been convicted of carrying a weapon without a license. And so the state would ask that on the first charge of simple battery family violence, he would be get a good bond of $2,500. On the second charge of battery family violence, a $1,500 good bond. That he stay away from the home they shared at 680 Grant Terrace Southeast, that he have no contact with his sister, Natasha Duffy, no anger or drugs or weapons, and that he take the 2-week DV course.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I would be requesting a cinch bond or in lieu of that, a bond of $1,000 for Mr. Williams. He only has one cycle. I heard one probation violation back in 2015. He is 35 years of age, a high school graduate, currently employed at Millhouse Security, father of one child, age 1. Again, I'd be requesting a cinch bond or a bond of no more than $1,000.
Okay. I'm going to order a $3,500 surety bond, $2,500 on the first charge of simple battery family violence, and $1,000 on the second charge of battery family violence. And stay away from 680 Grant Terrace Southeast. I'm going to order no further contact with Natasha Duffy. I'm going to order the 2-week DV course and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Is there anything else I need to take up?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount? I'm sorry.
$3,500.
That's good bond or signature.
Good bond, sir.
Thank you. And I failed to mention position number 15, Porter Smith. He bonded out.
Oh, okay.
And that's all we have in courtroom 2.
That's it. All right. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Ms. Gardner. Was there any other cases similar to that on the rest of the calendar that needs to be addressed?
There were just the 2 that I mentioned. Are you talking about having the charges with the different
Yeah,
numbers?
charges, yes, ma'am.
Yes. There were the 2. Do you need me to look?
I got the one with the vehicle homicide and the one he just did. So I'm just saying if there's any other.
That's all I have.
Okay, they're corrected in the system now.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Miss Grace, when you're ready, we're ready.
Okay, position number 1, $5,000 good bond reset for SAP calendar for 3/3. Position number 2, $6,000 good bond reset date 3/3/22 SAP. Position number 3 is a $3,000 pretrial bond reset further notice, as well as position number 4, $3,000 pretrial reset further notice. Position number 5 is reset for 2/21 SCA calendar. Position number 6 is a $10,000 good bond reset 3/3 SAP. Position number 7 is a $12,000 good bond reset date 3/3/22 SAP. Position number 8 is a $5,000 good bond reset 3/3/22 SAP. Position number 9 is a $4,500 pretrial bond reset date further notice. Position number 10 is a $5,000 good bond reset 3322 SAP. Position number 11 is a $2,000 SOB through the jail, reset further notice. Position number 12 is a split bond, 30,500, reset 3322 SAP. Position number 13 is a 1,500 good bond, reset 3322 SAP.
Can you go
Position
back
number-
to number, can you go back to number 12? I think you just gave us the good bond split, and then you did not give us the SOB, I don't think.
Okay, you want me to break it down for you?
Well,
For number 12, okay.
yes.
Number 1 is a 17,000 good bond.
Well,
Charge
good
number
good
2.
bond versus surety bond versus signature. Because I
Say
think 30,500 good bond and 10,500 SOB, is that correct?
Pre-trial, yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
the 20,000 is the good bond, and the 10,500 is SOB pre-trial.
Okay. Is that what everybody has, I think?
Okay. Did we leave off on position number 14, you guys?
I believe it was position
Yes, number
13.
14. He was on number 14 next.
14, okay. Position number 14 is a $2,000 SOB signature bond through the jail, reset further notice. Position number 15 was released. Position number 16 is a $2,000 good bond, reset 3322 SAP. Position number 17 is a 3,500 good bond, reset 3322 SAP. Position number 18 is a $1,000 good bond. Position number 19 is a 4,500 split. Charge 1 is a 2,500 good bond, and 2 and 3 is 1,000 each pre-trial. Reset 3322 SAP.
Question to the judge and to the PD. And do you think position 13, 14 should stay together? And 14 should be reset to the SAP if he doesn't make bond, keep both of the cases together?
Usually we do that, I think, but I don't know. What is the state or Mr. Coleman's experience with that?
I mean, we know he's out, we know he has the SOB on the second charge, but if he doesn't get out, we keep both of the cases normally together.
We would ask that they be kept together for SAP in case we want to do a global recommendation.
Okay.
I have no objection to that. And if he doesn't settle on the second case of driving charges, he still has a signature bond, so he can still be released and post on the other bond.
Right, okay.
So Melissa, make that correction. Position number 14 is going to be reset for the SAP along with his other case.
Okay.
I think that's it. Any
Okay.
questions?
Any questions, comments,
No questions.
Your Honor.
corrections?
That's just gonna email
Very
us.
fast.